Good morning. This is your Marshall County Master Gardener, Chelsea Martins here, coming to you live from my home office. I am working remotely currently, so I am in my home office, and we are going to start some seeds today. So if you guys have any questions about seed starting, feel free to pop them. My phone is a ways away from me, so I will try to watch the comments as much as possible. And I am going to take a quick detour, and I'm going to share this a couple places, so hang tight. When you guys hop on, let me know that you're here. Tell me hi. Tell me what you are going to be starting from home. And if you're catching the replay, comment along. That's okay. Maybe let us know that you are catching the replay. Okay, just making sure that my share posts real quick. We're going to share it one more time. Okay, I think we should be set. So, like I said, when you hop on, let me know that you're on. Tell me hello. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment along, and if you are watching the replay, I will watch the comments afterwards too. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the first step that you need to do is you need to prepare your soil. But even before that though, I have some containers here that I have been using for the last couple of years. It is perfectly fine to recycle some of your containers, but if you do, just know that you need to clean and sanitize your containers. So I have not cleaned and sanitized this one yet, so this one I'm gonna throw seeds in later after this video. But it's pretty neat. I got these off of Amazon. It has a nice tall dome lid, which I like because your seedlings can get a little bit taller. It even has a little vent cap here with a couple of different sizes of holes, so you can vent out all of your condensation. And then it also has your lid underneath, just like that, because I like to water from the bottom when possible. And I got a pack of several, like maybe around 10 or so, and it was relatively cheap. But you don't necessarily have to go anywhere to purchase things online if you don't want to. Your local greenhouse, Tyson's, Menards, or just use things that you have laying around the house. I also use plastic cups, poke a couple holes at the bottom, and fill it up. And the reason why I poke holes at the bottom is because I like to water my plants from the bottom when possible. So, like I said, the first thing besides sanitizing your containers, if you're reusing them, is to prepare your soil. Now, you might be sitting at home wanting to start seeds, but you might not necessarily want to go out and about, so use whatever soil you have on hand. It will work. It just might take a little bit longer for some of your seeds to start. But if you do have available or happen to run out for some supplies, I do like to use a seed starting soil. I find that it has a lot of the nutrients that you need and helps your seeds start a little faster, a little quicker, and a little better. So I have already some here just in this bowl at home. I typically, when I'm able to, like to find a more flatter, like plastic tote to put my dirt in, but I'm given the cards to play with. I don't have a whole lot at home, so I'm just using a bowl. And that's okay. Use what you've got. So in this bowl here, I have got steaming hot water. I just popped it in the microwave for about 3 minutes or so. And the reason why I use hot water in my soil before starting seeds is for a couple reasons. One, you want to make sure that your soil is nice and damp, because then you don't have to worry about watering it after you have planted your seeds. I see a couple people are on. Tell me hi. It's not telling me who you are, so tell me hello and let me know if you're starting seeds at home anytime soon, or maybe if you already have. So besides getting the soil damp, you also want to use hot water, because it will get rid of any of the contamination that might be in the soil, or any bugs or anything. Obviously, when people are trying to when the stores are making your soil, they're trying to get all that stuff out for you, but they might have missed some, or some might have slipped in after the packaging. So I'm just gonna get rid of any bugs and any contamination. And if, like, this bag was from last year, so it's been sitting in my basement in one of the rooms downstairs, so I don't know what had maybe gotten in there. So I'm just gonna make sure that it's contamination free and my seedlings have the best possible start that they can. So I'm just gonna dump a little bit in. And you want hot water, but you want hot water that you can stand. So whatever's possible. I usually do for about 3 minutes, depending on the container. And then just mix it in. Because this is pretty, it's pretty dusty. Look at that. It's pretty dusty. It's also kind of easier. I mean, I know you're going to get muddy and dirty, but it's also just a little bit easier to work with soil that packs better versus dusty soil. Okay, so I've got my soil. It kind of clumps up but still falls apart. That's about the consistency that I look for. And I really didn't use much. I used like maybe half of this cup. It wasn't much at all. So I've got my soil prepped and ready and hopefully contamination free. So I'm going to go ahead and fill some of my pots. I'm just going to use something like this right now for my seeds at home, and then fit it and then pop it into a flat tray so I can water from the bottom, and then put a dome over top. That's usually the system that I go with, is a dome that comes with those flat black trays that you can buy at Tyson's, Menards, Walmart, or whatever. But if you don't have something like that at home, that's okay. You don't have to go out and buy anything special. You could also just put some saran wrap over top. You just need to know that if you use that system, then you're going to have to remove the plastic wrap a little faster than you would if you were using a dome top, because the seedlings will get tall on you. So I'm just going to go ahead and pack this, and I'm sorry that you can't see everything that I'm doing. I don't have the best form of getting my camera to look down at the table since I'm at home and I'm in my office. Okay, so it is full, and then what I like to do is press it down on each cell. Make sure it's packed. You don't want it to be overly packed, but you want it packed enough where the seedlings have a nice firm base to start with. So I usually just pack it in slightly with my thumb and then just overfill. My dog is barking. So I'm gonna shut the door. Okay, so I have a couple things that I'm going to start today. I have some dill for home. I have some flowers that I'm going to start, and then I also have some cauliflower that I'm going to start for work. I do have already herbs started at the work office, and then on Thursday I plan to start all my tomatoes as well. So just like any seed, that you start, I like to put 2 seeds per pot. I'd rather have 2 seedlings growing in a pot and then transplant it a little faster, give me better odds of having more plants survive, versus only planting 1 per pot and then maybe only getting 4 seeds to come up on this side of the pot. So I usually just pop a seed in and then stick my pen, my pencil, or my finger in, and then cover the dirt. Make sure you're reading the label on the back of the package of how far or how deep to plant it and all that jazz. Something else that's really important that I found useful is getting a heat mat. This ensures that your soil stays the temperature that you need it to. It needs to be between 70 and 75 degrees to keep a stable environment from your seedlings, and they grow the best that way. So getting a heat mat is really helpful. If you don't want to get a heat mat, just put it in a warmer room, and maybe even close to your register, not on top of your register, but close to your register. And then I talked about using plastic wrap if you don't have a dome to put over your tray. That will help with condensation and self-watering. And then let's talk about light. So You could use any kind of light. You can use a lamp. You could use some garage lights that are long. But it needs to be between 4 and 6 inches above the plant and the seedling. If you go any higher than that, they'll start to get straggly and they'll get pretty leggy and they'll just flop over. So keep it as low as you can. And if they do start to get leggy, just transplant them. I will have another video that I'm going to upload to our Iowa State Extension Outreach YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to that yet, that's new. Subscribe to that. But I do have a video that I'll be posting for the tips that I like to use when I'm transplanting. I'm sorry about my dog, guys. I'm at home. So watch for that as well. And then amount of time. You want a lot of light over your plants for a long time. They recommend between 12 and 16 hours each day. I just use a Christmas tree timer. This is what I use for my Christmas tree during Christmas time, and then I just get it out for my plants and I set the timer so I don't have to worry about it. Before I used a planter, or before I used a timer, I was forgetting and it wasn't getting that consistent lighting every day, and that didn't do as good. So I switched to a timer and they've done a lot better since then. And if you're looking for any articles to read, the Yard and Garden homepage from the Iowa State Extension Outreach has a really good article that's called Germinating and Growing Seedlings Indoor During Winter. That one is what I like to follow for most of my seed plantings. It's a really good article, and I will try to, when I get off, I will post that in the comments and pin it that way so you guys can have that for reference. And so there's another form that you guys could use if you're going out. This tray has the individual little peat pots that you can drop water into, and then it expands the seeds, or expands the dirt. But then there's also little round peat pots that get taller, but they have a netting around it to keep the seedlings in just this little drop-in cube. Those work as well. Like I said, you could use just plastic cups, styrofoam cups. Styrofoam cups will help wick the water up a little bit more. But if you have plastic, that's fine too. It'll just stay more towards the bottom and slowly work its way up, which is okay. Otherwise, yeah, let's go ahead and pop a few seeds in this tray here. Not much to it. I mean, it's self-explanatory. I don't really have too many tips for the actual physical planting of the seeds, but we'll get some started. So these are my flower seeds. This just happens to be what I'm planting today. I also have some dill that I'm going to start. I'm an avid canner. So that means that I can a lot of pickles, so I like to grow dill when I can. So the only real tip that I have for the actual planting of the seeds is I like to plant in each corner of the pot. That way so they have accurate room to grow in the pot, or in these little plugs. So I just put, so this is my square right here. I just put one on the far corner up here, and then the bottom corner down here. Just like that. And then I'll just go through and I'll fill the rest of the container with my seeds, and then I'll switch. Always make sure that you label your pots. I just use popsicle sticks, nothing too special, or just Sharpie the actual container. Where did I get that tray? Hold on a second. Are you talking about this one right here? Possibly. If so, to be honest, my mom picked this up for me at a garage sale, but I know that you can get a lot of these things just at Tyson's and at Menards. I'll open it up. Let's open it up. So this is, so if you've ever seen the really, there's big blocks of compacted soil mixes that you can get. This is a really small condensed version of it. But then there's also little starters that are about this size, and then they only grow tall, just a little bit wider as the water wakes up to it, and it's got a little center in the inside that you drop your seed in, and then your seed eventually buries down and then just sets in this little container. Then you can transplant into another pot when it's bigger. Something else that I have used, I have a recyclable seed starter tool at work. It's basically just a round wooden object that you can put strips of newspaper around it to form, and then that way you can just put that object right into the ground, because it decomposes in the ground. So that's another form. If you're really into using recycled materials, you can just use something like that, something like paper. This brand is Planter's Pride. It has a website that's Save Our Peat blog, saveourpeatbogs.com. But I'm sure that something like this is available just at Menards or Tyson's. So this is kind of what it looks like. It's got individual little dirt starters, just like that. So I've got here all of my, I've got one side already started here. So I think I'll call that good with my flowers, and then I'll probably just move on to the other side, me being dill for right now. So as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to go down to my basement. I'm probably just going to use this table right here. I'm going to move it downstairs. I'm going to plug my heat mat in. I have to use a heat mat because our basement doesn't stay the warmest. So if you don't use a heat mat, make sure you can try to get your soil up to 70-75 degrees. To stay nice and warm. Put it closest as you can to register if you don't have a heat mat. And then as soon as they start emerging, and it looks like a good majority of them all are emerged, I'm going to take my plastic dome off or your plastic wrap, and then I'm going to put my lights on like we talked about. 12 to 16 hours of light a day. Use a timer if you can, or go on a schedule where it's easiest to plug it in, plug it out. I usually do about 14 hours, but 12 to 16 is recommended. 4 to 6 inches away from your seedlings. Yeah, I think that's all the notes that I wanted to talk to you guys about. If anyone has questions, if you didn't catch the beginning of the video, my name is Chelsea Martins. I'm the Marshall County Master Gardener Coordinator. I am currently working remotely and only going into the office about 1 day a week, but please reach out to me if you have any questions. My email is really super easy. It's just Chelsea, CHELSEA @iastate.edu. Shoot me an email, or you can call the office and leave a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Our phone number is 641-752-1551. And after I get done recording this, I'm going to pop it onto our new YouTube channel. So if you are a YouTuber, go subscribe to our Marshall County Extension and Outreach YouTube channel. I will drop that down in the comments, as well as the Yard and Garden Germinating and Growing Seedlings Indoor During Winter article for you guys to read. And I think that's all that I had for you guys today. I hope you found at least something helpful in this video and got some kind of tip out of it to help you start seeds at home. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and start seeds now, because now is the time. We'll chat later. Thanks. Bye.